Hey everybody, thought for this Manic Monday I'd pull out a game I haven't played in quite some time, and that is replay baseball. And I was trying to figure out what game to play, so I decided to pull out the 1980 set. That's the newest set I have from, I think I got it last year, and play the first game of the 1980 World Series between the Kansas City Royals and the Philadelphia Phillies. This game is at Veterans Stadium, so we have the Veterans Stadium card out there. And let's get down to business. I'm going to issue with the prelims of how to play the game because I'm figuring most of you have seen it. And if you have not, once you see a few at-bats, you can probably pick it up pretty quickly. Let's go through the starting lineups. These are the actual Game 1 lineups. Willie Wilson in left, McRae the DH, Brett at third, Akins at first, Porter at catching, Amos Otis in center, Clint Hurdle in right, Frank White at second, and UL Washington the shortstop, with Dennis Leonard on the mound for the Royals. For the Phillies, it's Lonnie Smith, Pete Rose, Mike Schmidt, Bake McBride, Greg Luzinski, Gary Maddox, Manny Trio, Larry Boa, Bob Boone, and Bob Walk. And the reason why Bob Walk got to start in Game 1 is the Phillies had such a tough series in the NLCS with the Astros that Steve Carlton had to pitch in that last game to kind of, get them over the threshold, so he was not available for Game 1. But the Game 1 starter was Bob Walk. So we got Bob Walk, and he was certainly not a bad pitcher by any means. 11-7, 4.57 ERA, kind of mediocre, but not horrible. And we'll get this thing going here. Haven't done my setup for replay in a while, so I'm trying to get everything set up where you can see the score sheet and the cards. And of course, with replay baseball on their score sheet, I can put the ratings right here for all the fielders, so I don't need to reference their cards all the time. The other thing is I've got the playbook back here, so there's no way to really put that on camera, so I would do that off as the results come along. I'll show you the dice and the cards and the score sheet, but the stadium or the results book, I'll just keep it kind of where it needs to be. All right, so leading things off will be Lonnie Smith of the Kansas City Royals. Get everything centered here, hopefully, where you can see things hopefully pretty good. Maybe as good as Johnny Nash's I can see clearly now. Maybe that's a good theme for this. All right, and of course we're using the 3 dice, red, white, and blue. So, and actually the way that worked out is we got a color for every team. We got Phillies red and Kansas City blue. So it worked out pretty well. All right, so Bob Walk is going to face Willie. I got the wrong team, Lonnie Smith on there. What am I doing? I'm already starting off poorly, aren't I? Willie Wilson's the starter. Lonnie Smith doesn't get to bat until the bottom of the first. So Willie Wilson, at the time, he set the record for 705 at-bats. I don't know if that's still a record or not. It might still be. I haven't looked it up. But anyway, switch hitter Willie Wilson against Bob Walk. We get a 1-4-1, and a 1-4 on Willie Wilson is a 3. 1-1 is a 2. That's a 5. That's a strikeout. So Bob Walk gets the strikeout of Willie Wilson, 1 away. And that will bring up the DH, Al McRae. This was a series that they used the DH in even number years back in the 70s and 80s, late 70s and 80s. In the even years, the DH was prevalent. Odd years, it was not. And then eventually got to the point where the home team determined that. But back in the day, that's the rotation they used. And this was a DH year, so here we go. Even though we're in a National League stadium, we are using the DH per the rules. 1-6-4. 1-6 is a 45, and the 45 when the bases are empty, that is a strikeout. So otherwise you'd be looking for a double play, but as it is, it's a strikeout. 2 up, 2 down. Bob Walk has struck out the first 2 Royals he has faced. And now here's George Brett. This was his famous season where he hit 390 and was testing the waters for 400. You get a 3-6-2, and a 3-6, that is the left-right split check. Anytime you roll a red 3 and a white 6, that's a left-right split. Since Brett's a lefty and Walks as a righty, it's a base hit for Brett automatically. So George Brett gets the, and I'll go ahead and circle that so I know it's a left-right check. I always like to see how many times that comes up in the game. Willie Mays Akins steps to the plate. I'm not doing any stealing. I'm going to let the cards factor in and basically, I guess it's called automatic stealing. Just steal when the cards tell you to. All right, so 3-3. is a 32. 3-5 is a 4. It's a 36 in column 3. And that is a double to left field. So let's see if Brett can score. Aikens just cracked a double to left. And it says on the book, check with third base coach for any extra base attempt because runners get 2 bases. So we'll check with the third base coach and see what the third base coach has to say about the whole thing. So let me get the third base coach chart out. Third base coach is right here. Let's check the run rating and the arm rating and compare the two. The double went to left field. So the left fielder in this case is Lonnie Smith. Lonnie Smith has an arm rating of 3. The run rating for George Brett, his run rating is a 4. So Brett's got a +1 advantage on that. So we come over here, normal, we do +1. So +1 means we're going to be in this column here. So they're going to take the chance and send him. If it's a 10, he's out. 12, he holds. Anything else, he will score. So as long as we don't have a 10 or a 12, he's in good shape. It's a 6, so he will score. He will score as he gets the XB result. So Brett will come around to score on that double. And that makes sense. There were also 2 outs, although this chart does not give any... there's nothing in here to say if you get 2 outs, you get an extra bump. So it worked out fine for the Royals as Aikens comes through with a RBI double. Kansas City's ahead 1-0. And here is Darryl Porter, catcher. 5-5-1. 5-5 is a 20. 5-1 is a 5. That's a 25 in column 5, and that is a base on balls. Base on balls, and we're going to go to action column M as a result of that. But there is a runner on second, so if it talks about a stolen base, that can happen. But there could be wild pitches and things like that, pickoffs and stuff like that. Action column M talks about that. It doesn't talk about steals. It talks about wild pitches and balks. So we rolled the red and white D6s plus the blue one is needed as well, possibly. So we get a 10. 10 says pass ball, and then the blue rating is going to be factored into that. So we go to pass ball, and it says, where are you at? Here, up here. If blue die is higher than catcher's pass ball rating, all runners advance. Well, the pass ball rating on Bob Boone is a 4. That's a 2, so there is no pass ball. So just going to be a walk, and everybody's going to stay put as Boone was able to block that pitch in the dirt. Here's the AO, Amos Otis. 1-2 is a 2. 1-3 is a 3. Is also a 2. It's a total of 4. And anything less than 6 in column 1 is a strikeout. So Walk struck out the side, but he also gave up 2 hits and a run. And I just wrote 0 there, and I don't know why when Kansas City scored the run. Wasn't very good thinking there, was it? I got to put a 1 there when the whiteout dries. I really need to get some correction tape, I guess. But as of right now, it is Kansas City 1 and Philly 0. And Dennis Leonard will be on the bump, facing Lonnie Smith. Leadoff man for the Phils, 2-5. 2-5 is a 16. 2-3 is a 2. It's an 18 in column 2. And that is a fly to center field. And there's one away. Brings up Pete Rose. 5-2 is a 27. 5-1 is a 1. It's a 28. And a 28 in column 5 is another fly out. This one to right field. So 2 up, 2 down. And also with this game, card component quality, very, very good. The only one that's better, I think, is payoff pitch. But this is probably the second best for sure as far as card component quality. Mike Schmidt steps to the plate. 2 out, space is empty. 5-1 is a 5. 5-5 is a 3. It's a total of 8, and that's a walk. So 2 out walk to Schmidt. And that brings up Bake McBride, right fielder, cleanup hitter. 1-2. 1-2 is a 35. 1-3 is a 2. It's a 37. And a 37 is a ground ball to second. And that's with the third out. There's no chance of a double play because that's the third out of the inning. So 1-0 is our score after 1 here at the Vet. Royals lead at 1-0, and with Bob Walk, Phillies are hoping to at least get some innings out of him. They don't want to burn their bullpen so much. Here's Clint Hurdle. Get a 6-1. That's a 16. 6-1 is a 1. That's a 17. That's a deep fly to left field. So Hurdle tried to go the opposite way, but not deep enough. Hauled in out there by Lonnie Smith. One away for Frank White, second baseman. 4-1 is an 11, and there's an asterisk. That means if he reaches, there's a chance he will attempt to steal if he reaches. But it's a 4-11, which means we're going to have an error check on somebody, and that is a 4-4. So 4-4 is the shortstop, Larry Boa. So Boa has an error rating of 51, so probably a good chance he'll make this play, and he does. So it's a good play for Boa, as there was only a 12 on the red and white die. And 12 is much lower than 51, obviously, so easy play. 2 up, 2 down for Boa. And here's UL Washington, famous for his toothpicks. 4-5. 4-5 is a 3, and a 4-5 is the shortstop Boa again. So again, and there's no error check this time. It's just an easy play for Boa because he's a 3. Add a 3 to this makes it a 6, and a column 4-6 is an easy ground out with no issues. And the inning's over. So this time Bob Walk skates through the second inning with no problems. We go to the bottom of the second, still 1-0. And that'll bring up Greg Luzinski. So Luzinski. We get a 1-6, which is a 45. We already know that's a strikeout with the bases empty. So Luzinski is gone. Brings up Gary Maddox. Center field. 2-2 is an 11, so he's going to reach, and that's an asterisk, which means he's going to steal. So we know an 11, that's an automatic base hit, because anything you add to that, it's going to get 12 through 16, so that will be a base hit. Just to be official, we'll do the 5, which is a 3, which makes it a 14, which means the single goes to center field. Not that that matters all that much, but there will be a steal attempt because of the asterisk. So for the steal attempt, go to the chart I like to use for steals, which is this one right here, stolen base option. Pitcher hold and catcher's defense should get a number based on those. Pitcher hold is a 3 out of Leonard and a 4 for Porter. So 4 catcher defense and a 3 pitcher hold gives you a 43. Come over here. If dice roll is less than or equal to the defensive stolen base rating, the runner holds. If the dice roll is higher, it's a stolen base. So if we roll 2d6s and we get a 43 or less, he will hold. 44 or more, he will steal. So let's see what he cannot be caught. It's a 23, so he's going to have to hold. So Maddox unable to get the jump. And that'll bring up Manny Trio. 2-5 is a 16. 2-2 is a 2. It's an 18. And that's a fly to center. 2 down. And that brings up Larry Boa, the shortstop. Switch hitter with Maddox at first. And 2 outs. 5-1 is a 1. And that's also an asterisk there. 1. And a 5-1 is a 1. Makes that a 2. That's a ground out to first. And we would normally check for a double play, but that's the 3rd out of the inning. So it's easy play as Akins just steps on the bag. And the Phillies are gone here in the 2nd. So we go to the 3rd. Still 1-0 in favor of the Royals. That makes Derek Dodgers Royals fan happy. And we just had the Royals earlier, yesterday, playing the White Sox in the White Sox Stratomatic replay. So we're getting our fill of Royals here. Here's Willie Wilson. 5-1, and that's a 27. 5-5 is a 5, it's a 32, and 32 is a fly to left. One of the nice things about this game is the base running is all laid out for you. There's really can be no confusion because you get explicit instructions on the charts, and it also tells you when you have the option to gamble. Here's Hal McRae. 6-6 is a 10. 6-1 is a 1. That's an 11. That's an 11, and 11 is a single, but a chance for a home run. So we're going to roll 1d6. If we get a 6, it turns into a home run. It does not, so it's a single. Single for Hal McRae, 1 out single. And that'll bring up George Brett. So Brett got a base hit his first time on that left-right split. 5-2 is a 27. 5-4 is a 5, that's a 32, and 32 is a fly to left for out number 2. So Brett's gone, and here's Willie Mays Aikens. Three-five is the ballpark. First time the ballpark's going to come into play because we got this orange area. Right now it's a 3, but we're going to roll the 2d6s again and compare it with this column. Get a 35. 35 is in this category. So that bumps this to a 4. It was a 3. It's now a 4. Column 3, 1 for walk is a 2. Makes that a 6 in column 3, and a 6 in column 3 is still a fly out to center. It would have had to have been a 7 to get that to be a base hit. So walk was able to, because he had a low number here, he doesn't give up a lot of hits with these 2s. If he'd rolled down here, if it had been any other number besides a 1 on the blue die, he would have given up a hit. But blue die was kind, and walk gets out of it. So we go to the bottom of the 3rd, and it is still 1-0 favor of the folks from Kansas City. Here's Bob Boone. Bob Boone, a 1-4 is a 5. A 1-4 is a 2. That's a 7. And a 7 is a pop out to second. So there's 1 away. Boone pops out. We go back to the top of the order for Lonnie Smith. 4-6 is a 32. 4-3 is the 3rd baseman, Brett. Brett's numbers defensively is a 1. So that gives him a 33 in column 4. And a 33 in column 4. Come down here. 33 to column 4 is a pop out to the 3rd baseman. So he pops out. I'm not used to seeing high numbers like that, but there's a chart down at the bottom that talks about that. So it's popped to George Brett for out number 2. Here's Pete Rose. 4-2. That's a 5. 4-4 is Boa again, so a 5 and a 3 from Boa is an 8. That's an easy play. And down go the Phillies. Not Boa, I'm sorry, it's UL Washington. He's a 3, and he made the play. Not bad, but they were both rated 3, so it's the same result. So we go to the 4th. 1-0. Pitcher's duel here at the Vet, which is usually a hitter's park. Here's Porter, Darryl Porter. 3-2 is a 2. 3-5 for walk is a 4. That's a total of 6. So he just escapes. If it had been a 7, it would have been a hit. But instead, it's a 6, which turns into a fly to center. So 1 away. Porter is out of there. And that's going to bring up Amos Otis. 4-1 is a 5. 4-1 is the 1st baseman, Rose, who's a 4. It's a total of 9. And a 9 is an easy ground out. So Rose will take it to the bag himself. 2 down, 2 up, 2 down, and here's Clint Hurdle. Clint Hurdle, former manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates. At least I think he's former. I think they changed managers. 5-6, but don't quote me on it. 5-6 is a 1. 5-3 is the 3rd baseman, and that's Schmidt. He's also a 1. That's a 2. And so a 2 is an easy. Wait a minute. I looked at. Wait a minute. It was 5-6. Yeah, 5-6 is a 1. 5-3 is Schmidt. That's a 2. So a 2 is actually. Wait a minute. 5-3 is a. Hold on. I got it backwards here. 5-3 is a 5. I'll get it straight in a minute. So 5-6 is a 1. This is a 5. It's a total of 6. And a 6 is going to be a walk. With runners on first or bases full, it's a 2-ball count, but the bases are empty. So Clint Hurdle gets a 2-out walk. I almost read that incorrectly. I was reading column 4 instead of column 5 by mistake. But that's a walk to Clint Hurdle. 2-out walk, and that brings up Frank White. I'll tell you, a little rusty playing this. I haven't played in a while. 1-2 is a 2. 1-3 is also a 2. That's a strikeout. But it comes back pretty quickly. So Frank White and the Royals are gone here in the 4th. We go to the bottom of the 4th, still 1-0. And Dennis Leonard rolling along, enjoying that lead. Got to deal with Mike Schmidt, though, to lead off. Schmitty, 6-1. Now this is a split chance. Against the lefty, you have a 9, which would be a great chance for a homer. But here he's got a 59, which is a chance for a double. Most likely will be a double. So 59 there. 6-2 is a 3. It's a 62 in column 6. And a 62 in column 6 is a double to left center. So Schmidt Could have been an 11, which would have meant he had a single and a possible home run chance, but the split there in that one area makes it a double, but it's still a leadoff double for Schmidt. So here's Bake McBride, 6'2", and that's also in the ballpark area in this orange. So we will re-roll that with the blue die is a 1. Keep that in mind. So column 6 to 62. So for a left-handed batter, 62 is going to make that an 11. So this jumps from an 8 to an 11. So we're looking at a home run big time here. 6-1 is a 3 here, makes that 11 a 3. 3 and the 11 make it a 14. That's gone. 2-run home run for Bake McBride. So Veterans Stadium really came into play there as that ball just rocketed out of Veterans Stadium, and now we're getting some of that offense I was thinking we were going to get from Veterans Stadium. That was a Veterans Stadium home run all the way. All the way, that was a Veterans Stadium home run. Normally that would have just been a single, but Veterans Stadium changed it and gave them the home run, and now the Phillies lead it 2-1. 6-5, it's a 36, and 36 is an automatic strikeout in column 6. So that's out number 1 for Gary Maddox. Phillies now lead it 2-1 here in the bottom of the 4th. 1-3 is a 4, 1-3 is a 2, that's a 6, that's a strikeout. So Leonard has come back and struck out Luzinski and Maddox, and now there's 2 outs, bases clear for Trio. 6-6 for Trio. We're back in the shaded area again. This could be trouble once again for Leonard. And it is 66. How do you like that? Changes it to an 11 again. That's a 3. That's gone. Home run for Manny Trio. So Veterans Stadium is really getting to Dennis Leonard. He's now given up 2 home runs because of the stadium. And it's now 3-1 Phils here still in the bottom of the 4th with 2 outs. Here's Boa. 4-5 is a 5, and a 4-1 is the first baseman Akins, who's a 4. It's a total of 9, so it's an easy ground out for Akins to make the play. But the Phils, 3 runs here in the bottom of the 4th, thanks to 2 Veterans Stadium aided dingers. And we go to the 5th. It's 3-1 favor the Phils, and they're getting a definite benefit with Bob Walk pitching. If they can steal the game with Bob Walk starting, they're in really good shape. 1-1 for Washington's a 10. 1-4 is a 2. It's a 12. And that's a single up the middle for UL Washington. Leadoff single. And that'll bring up Willie Wilson. So back come the Royals. 3-6. That's the left-right split. And since he is a switch hitter, he automatically gets the hit there. Now the question is it a 2-base advancement? Let's see. 62, and then the 4 from Walk makes that a 65. 65 in column 3 is a single to center field. Runner advances 2 bases. So Washington will get to third, and now all of a sudden runners are at the corners. Nobody out for the Royals. They've got the Rabbits on the bases. Here's Hal McRae. Now Dallas Green might be in a little trouble here. Might be getting his bullpen ready. 1-2 is a 35. 1-1 is a 2. That's a 37. 37. Now the infield is back. They want to turn the double play. So if they're halfway, second to first double play is what is called for. So it is a 4-6-3 double play. The run will score. Cuts the lead to 3-2, but now their bases are empty and there's no RBI for McRae. 3-2, but now there's 2 outs, bases empty. And the Phillies will gladly exchange the run for that double play. Here's Brett. 3-6, and he found again the left-right split, so again he's going to get that. Well, I forgot to circle one for Willie Wilson because that was a switch hitter. So it's happened 3 times already. The 3-6 has been rolled 3 times. Brett reaches 3 times in less than 5 innings, which is highly unusual. For me anyway. Here's Willie Akins. 5-5 is a 20. 5-4 is a 5. That's a 25, and that is a walk. And we go to the Action M chart. So runners are now at first and second, but we go to the M chart to see if there's any kind of pass ball or whatever. Roll an 8 on the M chart, and an 8 is a wild pitch. Blue die is a 2. And it says if blue die is higher than the wild pitch rating, it's a wild pitch. His wild pitch rating is a 1, so the 2 is higher than that. So Bob Walker's just uncorked a wild pitch. And that will move the runners into scoring position with 2 outs for Darrell Porter. Darrell Porter. 2-3 is a 16. 2-2 is an 2. It's an 18, and that's a fly to center. That will end the inning. The Royals pick up 1. Could have had more, but the double play really took them out of that. And at the end of 4.5, it's still Phillies 3. Or it's now Phillies 3 and the Royals 2. Leonard back out. Facing Bob Boone. 6-1 is a 31. 6-6 is a 5. It's a 36. That's a short fly to right field. 1 away. Boone is gone. Here's Lonnie Smith. 1-6 is a 45, and that's a strikeout with the bases empty. So 2 up, 2 down, and that brings up Pete Rose. 0 for 2 for Rose. 2-2, that'll change. That's an 11. That's a base hit. Now he will have to steal because the plus sign is there, not the star. It's a plus sign. That means if he doesn't get the right rolls, he will be caught stealing. There is no holding here because the hold only applies when there is an asterisk, not when there is a plus sign. And Pete Rose had the plus sign. And we know from previous attempted stealing that the hold and the catcher rating gives us this 43. So here on the plus side, if it's less than or equal to the stolen base rate, the runner is caught stealing. If it's higher, it's a stolen base. So if we roll a 43 or less, then Pete Rose will be caught stealing. 61, he makes it. So Pete Rose, how about that? A 2-out steal for Rose. Don't think of him stealing a whole lot of bases, but let's see. He stole 12 on the season, so definitely can pick his spots. Here's Schmidt. He's walked and doubled. Kind of dangerous to steal in front of Schmidt, though. 5-1 is a 5. 5-4 is a 2. That's a 7. And 7 says that's a walk. So runners now at first and second with 2 outs for Bake McBride, who had that ballpark home run last time. See if he can do it again. 6-4, he just missed it, but he did get a 51, which could be good things. 6-5 is a 4. That's a total of 55, and a 55 is a line drive to right field. Line drive hit to right field. Let's see here. Right fielder's arm is Hurdle, and he is an arm rating of 2. But actually, there's an option that says the blue die determines the fielder, not just the right field. So the blue die is a 5, which means we're actually looking at the center fielder. And the center fielder is Amos Otis, who has an arm rating of 4. So arm rating of 4 for Amos Otis. Let's see what it says here. Run advance and 1 chance for extra base. Roll 1 die against the outfielder's defensive rating. If the roll is higher, it's at least a double. Well, the defensive rating on Otis is a 4. So we're going to roll and see if it's higher than a 4. It is. So it will at least be a double. Now let's check the other things here. If the die is higher, it's at least... Let me see here. Like over here. Roll 1 die against the outfielder's arm. If the die is higher, scored as a base clearing triple. So the arm is a 4. If this is a 5 or 6, it's a base clearing triple. Nope, it's a double. So McBride's going to double, which means Rose is going to score for sure from second. Now let's check on Schmidt. See here if he has the chance to do it. Just says runners advance 1 base on a single. So he's going to get the 2 bases because of the double. There's no provision that I can see here to go to a third base coach chart or anything. So he's going to have to hold. So RBI double for Bake McBride. He's really been a nemesis for the Royals. Phillies now lead at 4-2, and he's got a homer and a double to show for it. Here's Greg Luzinski, who struck out twice. 6-1. He won't strike out this time. 6-1's a 59. 6-4 is a 3. It's a 62. And a 62 is a double into the corner. And that will score both runs. So Greg Luzinski, a 2-run double. And all of a sudden, with 2 outs and not a whole lot going on, the Phillies have just piled on 3 runs, take a 6-2 lead. And Dennis Leonard is in need of relief. Bullpen can't warm up fast enough. But right now, Gary Maddox is up there. 3-2 is a 29. 3-1 is a 2. It's a 31. And a 31 is a fly out to left. That's going to end the inning. But I believe that's going to be all for Dennis Leonard. His day is going to be done. He goes 5 innings and gives up 6 runs, all earned. Ooh, bad outing for Dennis Leonard, who was a 20-game winner in 1980, but just all of a sudden ran to a buzzsaw, it seems. So, bullpen will be necessary to see who they go to for that. So Leonard goes just 5 innings, gives up the 6 runs, all earned. He gave up 2 home runs. And let's see, he did not have a wild pitch. That was Walk that had the wild pitch. Let's see how many hits he gave, how many walks he did. 1, 2, I just see 2 walks unofficially. Strikeouts, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where the score sheet really is backwards here. You're supposed to put the walks before the strikeouts. Every box score I've ever seen does that. This is the only box score I've seen that or pitcher line score that has it backwards. But that's just a minor nitpick. Hits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. So rough outing there for Dennis Leonard. And Bob Walk's getting the run support, and he's enjoying it. Starting the top of the 6th with A.O. Amos Otis. 1-5 is a 3. 1-6 is a 3. It's a total of 6. That's a strikeout. So Bob Walk cruising along. And his fatigue is about the 6th inning. So this is probably Bob Walk's last inning. If they get 6 innings out of Walk, they'll be ecstatic. Here's Clint Hurdle. 2-1 is a 36. 2-1 is a 2. It's a 38. And a 38 is a ground ball, pitcher to first. There is an injury check. So let's see here. Does it say about the injury? Yeah, he's gonna be injured according to this. So Clint Hurdle is going to have to leave the game, because I will go ahead and play injuries since we're not doing. No, you know what? I'm playing as played, so forget that. All right. So Hurdle, because of that, he grounded out. I think he said he grounded to the pitcher, if I remember correctly. So that's 2 down for Frank White. So I'm not going to do injuries. I don't want to open up that can of worms. All right, 3-2. It's a 29. 3-5 is a 4. It's a 33 in column 3, and that is a line out to center. And it's a Bob Walk. 6 really good innings, only giving up the 2 runs. And that's going to be it for Walk. He's going to go his 6 innings, and he's going to give up his 2 runs, all earned. And let's check out his hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 hits. Did he walk anybody? He walked 1, 2. He walked 2. And strikeouts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Struck out 5. So nice outing there for Bob Walk, and they will go to their bullpen. Going forward, speaking of bullpens, the Royals have to go to their bullpen because Dennis Leonard just didn't seem to have it. We got Trio, Boa, and Boone. So they're looking for a right-hander. And they're going to go to, let's go to Rich Gale. And this gives me a chance to show off the split cards for the pitchers. Extreme right-left pitchers have this coloring. So this says that Rich Gale was much more effective against right-handers than he was left-handers. See the shaded area. When you look at the pitcher card, the lower numbers are the better. You always want lower numbers in these boxes. And as you can see, like in column 1, Rich Gale has all 2s here. But against lefties, it's 3, 4, and 4. So obviously he's much tougher against right-handed batters. So Rich Gale is going to get a chance to see if he can't show his stuff here against righties. Here's Manny Trio to start the bottom of the 6th. 4-2. 4-2 is a 2. 4-2 is the second baseman, because the 1 and 2 are, you got to split these in half. A 1 or a 2 is the top column. So that's the second baseman, Frank White. Frank White is a 1. So a 2 and a 1 is a 3. That's an easy ground out. The Trio is gone. And that brings up UL Washington. Now he's a switch hitter, so he'll be hitting off this lower section, being that he's a switch hitter. 6-4 is a 41, and 6-1 is a 2. That's a 43. 43 is a line drive hit. Line drive base hit, and I just dropped my pen. I don't know how I managed to do that. There it is. 43 is a line drive hit. The blue die says it went to left field. Let's see here. Chance for extra bases. Roll one die against the outfielder's defensive rating. If the die is higher, it's scored as a double. Defensive rating of the left fielder, in this case Wilson, is a 5. So this has to be a 6 to be a double. It's not. So Boa. Why did I have UL Washington up there? That was dumb. I don't know why I do that sometimes. Should have been Boa, not UL Washington. So let's go back to the result. I rolled a 6-4. So we'll do the 6-4 on Boa. That's a 57. 57. And then I rolled the 2 here. So that's a 59. 59 is a solid single to left field for Boa. And it's also an asterisk, so he's going to get a chance to steal a base. So let's correct that real fast. So Boa gets the steal, and since it's an asterisk, he will get the chance to steal. We've already done this combination, so 43 is the magic number. 43 or less, he will hold. Greater than 43, he will steal. 36, he's got to hold. So no stolen base for Boa. So 1 out. I just erased Manny Trio, and I shouldn't have, should I? Because I hadn't done Boa yet. Now, what did Manny Trio do? Now I'm really confused here. I think he grounded out. I think he grounded out to Frank White, if I'm not mistaken. So that should be a 4-3 there. I shouldn't have messed that one up. I hadn't written anything for Boa yet, so there you go. All right, so we'll get it straight. Here's Bob Boone. 4-2 is a 2, could be a double play. 4-1 is the second baseman, Frank White. He's also a 1. That's a total of 2. And with the infield halfway, that is a double play. So 4-6-3, double play, will take care of the inning. And we go to the 7th. It is still 6-2 Phillies. And we'll need a new pitcher for Philadelphia. Rich Gale will be coming back out, I'm sure, for another inning. So for the Phillies, they're going to have UL Washington, Willie Wilson, and Hal McRae, 2 switch hitters. So you really don't matter. I guess it really doesn't matter if you bring a lefty or a righty. They are going to go to. They're going to go to left-hander Kevin. I think it's pronounced Saucier. Saucier, maybe? I'm not sure. Don't remember. Saucier, maybe? I'm going to call him Saucier because I don't remember exactly how it was pronounced. But I think it might have been Saucier. Saucier, something like that. Here's UL Washington, switch hitter against the lefty. 3-3 is a 14. 3-1 is a 1. That's a 15 in column 3. And that's a line out to second for out number 1. Had he rolled anything else to get a 2, 3, or 4, that would have been a base hit. Because that would have been actually would have been a triple. Had he gotten a 16 or higher, that would have been a triple. But a 15 is a line out to second. So huge that was a blue on the that was a 1 on the blue die. That saved a triple. Here is Willie Wilson. Again, turning around, batting right-handed. 4-4 is a 3. 4-3 is a third baseman Schmidt. He's a 1. So that's total 4. Easy play for Schmitty. 2 down. 2 up, 2 down. That brings up Hal McRae. 1-2. 1-2 is a 35. 1-1 is a 3. It's a 38. And a 38 is a ground out to Schmidt. So an easy inning for Saucier. He's going to probably be just a 1-inning guy. So we'll let him pitch his 1 inning and be done with it. Although he might come out to face, I think he actually is going to stay in to face Brett Nakins and Porter. They got 3 lefties coming up, so they're going to let Saucier go 2 innings. Here's Lonnie Smith. I got to remember, I got to get my mindset away from modern baseball and think back in the 80s when they actually pitched more than 1 inning. So here's Lonnie Smith against Gale. 3-6, and that is a left-right split, and since it's a righty-righty, he's going to line it to short. So that's the 4th left-right split that's come up in this game. That time it went against the batter because they were the same side. So now Pete Rose, a switch hitter. 4-5 is an 11. means he's got an error check. 4-3. 4-3 is the second baseman White. So White is a 1. Makes that a 12, but it's an error check. He's a 56, so most likely will not make the error. He does not. It's a 35, so good play for Frank White. Rose is retired. 2 up, 2 down. And that brings up Schmitty. Walked twice and doubled. 3-1, and we're in the ballpark range again. So 3-1, column 3, the ballpark. We got a 64. So that changes that to a 62. That 4 has now become a 62 because of the ballpark. Rolling that 64 has changed that to a 62. So 4 becomes a 62. Rich Gale, 6-2 against a right-hander is a 2-6. Get it straight, a 3-2. The Blue Dogs a 2. A 3-2 is a 1. So we got a 1 and we got a 62. It's a 63 in column 3. And that's a line drive single to center field. Runners would advance 2 bases, but there are no runners on base, so it's just a 2-out single turned in by Schmidt. That'll bring up Bake McBride, and he certainly had his good day. Homered and doubled. 1-4. I think the good day just finished right here. 1-4 is a 35. 1-2 is a 3. That's a 38. That's a ground ball to Brett at third to end the inning. So we go to the top of the 8th, still a 6-2 ball game in favor of the Phils, as they erupted for 3 runs in the 4th and 3 runs in the 5th to kind of take this game over. Saucier back out because of these lefties he's facing. If he gets in trouble, they do have Ron Reed loosening in the bullpen. Here's Brett. 5-3. 5-3 for Brett is a 6B, so if he gets on base, then we go to the B on the action chart. 6B, and then a 5-3 here is a 1. That's a total of 7, and 7 will be a base on balls. So we will go to the action chart. Action chart B. So we go to the action chart and roll on that. Get a 7. So on action chart B, a 7 is a stolen SBE. SBE says stolen base plus possible throwing error on the catcher. Roll against the catcher's error rating. If its roll is higher, all runners advance an extra base. So the error rating on Boone is a 13. So definitely a good chance to have a throwing error here. And we do. So it's a stolen base plus a throwing error. So how about that? Brett trying to make something happen. He steals second. And then there's an E2 on the throw by Boone. So Boone commits the error. You would think he'd have a better defensive rating than 13, but look at his card. That's what he has. He's got a 13 error rating, so that's just the way it is. Maybe he had a lot of throwing errors. I don't know. But anyway, Brett's now at third with nobody out. Although the Phillies still lead it by 4, so his single run's not really going to hurt him any. They just got to avoid the big inning. Here's Willie Mays Aikens. 6-2 for Aikens, and we're in the ballpark again. Ballpark chance. So roll on column 6. Roll a 56, and that changes that to a 10. So the 8 becomes a 10. 6-2 for Saucier is a 1. That's total of 11. So 11 again is a single, but if you roll a D6 that turns out a 6, it's a 2-run homer. We do not. It's a single, but that'll score Brett easily from third. Lead is cut to 6-3. Now Saucier may not last too much longer. He's got the final lefty. This is his final batter to face, Darryl Porter. It'll be his last batter faced. 3-5, almost had that 3-6 split. 3-5 is a 12. 3-2 is a 2. That's a 14. And that is a line out to third base. Runner holds. So line out to third, and that's going to do it for Saucier. He will be lifted, and Ron Reed will be coming on to pitch for the Phils, as they want a right-hander in there. The veteran Ron Reed will be coming on. Saucier pitches an inning and a third, gives up 1 run, but the other run on base is his responsibility. Right now, it's probably still considered earned, because that base hit by Aikens would have probably scored Brett. Let's see about... He had no strikeouts and no walks. Oh, he did have a walk, my bad. Walked Brett to lead off. All right, so Ron Reed is in, and he'll be facing Amos Otis with a runner at first and one out. 5-4. 5-4 is a 45. 5-6 is a 4. It's a 49, and a 49 is a line drive hit to center field, but the blue die option changes that to right field since we got a 6 here. So it's a line drive single to right field. Let's see. Make sure I got the right number here. 5 is a 45, 47. All right, so runners advance one base on the single, chance for extra bases, roll one die against the outfielder's defensive rating. So the defensive rating on McBride is a 53. And 52, boy, he just did keep that from being extra bases. But it is a base hit. Runners advance one base. So the Royals not going away quietly. Here's Clint Hurdle. 2 on, 1 out. Clint Hurdle, the batter. 2-6. And that's the ballpark with the Rays numbers. So we're going to see what the new Rays number is going to be. Column 2. We get a 62, and that is a 5. So this changes to a 5, which means that's going to automatically be a hit. So a 4 for Ron Reed in column 2 is a 3. That becomes a 58. A 58 is a looping single. And it says if it's not higher, the ball falls in. For a single, runners advance one base, two base if their speed is higher than the outfielder's arm or with 2 outs. So let's see, there are not 2 outs. Is the base running speed of Akins higher than the outfielder's arm? Well, the outfielder in this case, with the blue die, it is, being a 4, it's the center fielder. So the center fielder, Maddox, has an arm of 4. Akins does not run greater than that, so he will only get one base. So the bases will be loaded on the single by Hurdle. The bases are loaded with still only 1 out and Frank White the batter. So Ron Reed run into some issues, and now the bullpen again for the Phillies is loosening. Tug McGraw is now throwing down there. 4-2. 4-2 is a 2, and they are at double play depth. 4-2 is a 2. 4-5 is the shortstop Boa. He's a 3. Total of 5, and with the infield halfway, that's a double play, just what the doctor ordered. 6-4-3, and that ends the inning. So Ron Reed gets the big double play ball, keeps the Royals at bay, and it's 6-3 is your score. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. Gale is going to finish off with 2 innings, and he's going to go with 2 hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts, no nothing. And we'll get a new pitcher in for the Royals. And let's see who that's going to be. They're going to turn to they would go to Quisenberry, but you're down by 3, so I think they're going to go to Rennie Martin. So Rennie Martin's going to get the call to pitch. Rennie Martin. So Rennie Martin is on to face Luzinski in a 6-3 game in the bottom of the 8th. 3-1 for Luzinski is a 31. 3-2 is a 2. It's a 33 in column 3, and that's a line out to center field. If he'd have gotten a 34 out of that, it would have been a double, but instead, it's a line out to center. And here's Gary Maddox. 5-3 is a 1. 5-2 is a 5. That's a 6. So Rennie Martin had a lot of walks, and he just walked one right here. So a 1 out walk, and that brings up Manny Trio. 6-6, that's trouble. Trio's got a home run off this last time off the ballpark card. He might do it again to 9, but that can change. 56 changes that to a 10. So we got a 10 here. 6-1 is a 3. It's a 13. That's a 2-run homer. A 2-run homer off the bat of Trio. And that pretty much has blown the game open. It's now 8-3. Manny Trio, his second home run of the game. He only had 7 all year in the regular season, but he gets 2 in this first game of the World Series. Go figure. Who do you think he is? Gene Tennis. Here's Larry Boa. 2-5 is a 50. 2-1 is a 3. It's 53. 53 is a ground out pitcher to first. Again, there would be an injury check, but we're not doing that. So 2 down for Bob Boone. 2-3. 2-3 is a 4. 2-3 is a 3. It's a total of 7. And a 7 in column 2 is a foul out. A foul out. The W only comes into play if we get a result of 12 through 16. So since it's a 7, the foul out will hold. Foul out to second. 2 runs come in, and it's now 8-3. So we will not see Tug McGraw because it's not a save situation. So let's see what they want to do here. They could let Reed go ahead and finish out, or we could bring in somebody else to scrub up. I think they're going to go and let Ron Reed finish out. So Ron Reed is going to stay in the game, finish things out. He's going to face UL Washington. Start things off. On the bench, let's see, they got Pete Lecoq as a pinch hitter, but he's not all that great. Let's see who else they have. They've got, that's about it. They got John Wathen, 305 hitter. You know what? They're going to pinch hit with John Wathen. So John Wathen is going to pinch hit for the Royals. Even though it is a righty-righty matchup, he's got a better average. So John Wathen will pinch hit to lead off the 9th against Ron Reed. 2-6. 2-6, we're in the ballpark chart again. That's a raised number of 4. That's a 63, so now it is a raised number of 5, so that'll be a guaranteed single. Nobody's on base to advance, but it's just a guaranteed single for Wathen. Let's make sure there's no extra base chances. No, it doesn't say anything about getting extra bases, so. John Wathen, a pinch hit single. And that brings up Willie Wilson. 6-3 is a 31. 6-6 is a 3. It's a 34. That is a short fly to center field. 1 away. They've kept Wilson in check, which has been the secret to holding the Royals to just 3 runs. Keeping that leadoff man off base. Here's Hal McRae. 3-4 is a 57, and that is a possible rare play. So when you get a 57, you go to the rare play, or it's a dribbler to the mound. But it all depends on what you have. Rolls 53 through 57. If it's even, you go to the playbook of 53 through 57. If it's odd, you go to the rare playbook. So we're going to roll 1 die and see if it's even or odd. It is odd, so we're going to the rare playbook and use that by base running situation, which is a runner on first and 1 out. So we got a runner on first in the rare playbook. Runner on first. Let's see what the 2 dice bring. We get an 8. So an 8. Oops, other side. Runner on first, an 8. And the out description is a 1, so we got a double to right field. Batter drives a double into the gap. Runners waved around third. Defense has 2 options. Throw home and attempt to retire the runner, or cut the throw for a play at third. The run scores with the batters out at third. So that's the obvious choice with the big lead that they have. They will let the run score, but they're going to cut the throw and get Hal McRae at third base. So let's see, the ball went to... With 1 out, it went to right field, so that means McBride gunned him down 9-5. Wathen will come around to score, but that's kind of a meaningless run. It only cuts the lead to 8-4. But now there's 2 outs and the base is clear, so McRae, not a very smart base running move, trying to take the extra base when you're down by so many runs. But that's what the rare playbook brings you. So here's Brett. 5-1 is a 4, 5-3 is a 1. That's a total of 5, and that's a ground ball to third. And that's going to end the inning and the ball game. Royals get a run in the 9th off of Reed, but that's going to pretty much about do it. So Reed ends up going an inning and 2/3 and actually giving up 2 runs. Both of them earned. The win goes to Walk. The loss goes to Leonard. Let's see, Saucier. Let's see what he gave up. 1 hit and a walk. 1 run is charged to him. And let's see, that run is deemed to be earned because there was another hit down here, so that run is definitely earned. Reed gave up 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. So he was kind of shaky there, but he had a big lead. So totals on the game for the Royals, they get 4 runs on 11 hits, which normally you would think would be good enough to win with Leonard on the mound, but not this time. 4-11-0 for the Royals. For the Phillies, let's see, Martin pitched the 8th inning. He gave up 2 runs, including a homer. So 3 home runs for the Phils. And he walked 1. Didn't strike anybody out. And let's see, hits. Just the home run was the only hit he gave up. So 10 hits. So 8 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error for the Phillies. So there is your final. Game 1 of the 1980 World Series taken by the Phils. 8-10-1 for the Phillies, 4-11-0 for the Royals. Bob walked the winner, Dennis Leonard the loser. So that was kind of fun, bringing out the replay baseball, which I haven't played in quite some time. And I circled the left-right split checks. So let's see, we had 1 here, 1 here, that's 2, 1 here is 3, and 1 here is 4. So we had 4 chances where the left-right split came into play. And also, I'll take that back, we also had another one in column 6. I don't remember who the batter was. I believe it might have been Luzinski, where there was a left-right split in his column 6 card that I forgot to circle. So let's see if that was the case. No, that wasn't Luzinski. I think it was Schmidt, actually. It was Schmidt, because I had that 9 and 59. So Schmidt down here, I think it was on this single right here. May have. No, 59 would have been a double, wouldn't it? No, it would have been a single. No, it could have been a double. It's hard to say, but that would have been the 5th chance that we had to check that. So 4 or 5 times, which is a fair amount, and it's about normal. You're not going to get a whole lot of chances there, but you got some. And with the pitching of Rich Gale, you saw that left-right come into play as well. So game 1 in the books. I'm probably not going to do any kind of a full replay on this. I just wanted to get this game out and play it again. I hadn't played in so long. Thought this would be a good time to do it and a good matchup to use. So once again, game 1 goes to the Phillies, 8-4 over the Royals. Hope you're having a great Monday wherever you are. Manic Monday, as we like to call it around here. Enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And as usual, I will see you all down the road.